Back here on Warrior Football, time for the senior spotlight. This time joined by offensive lineman Landin Mitchell. Landin, well, let's just talk about the season a little bit before we get talking to you. Offensive lineman, we were talking before we started that you've played a lot of snaps this year, and offensive line a very demanding position. How are you feeling after about a month and a half of playing?
After you've been in the, college football for a while, you kind of get used to the being, the typical, bumps and bruises and stuff like that. But feel pretty good after the first couple of weeks. You start getting into the season and you start, doing the maintain treatments, going to the training room, doing your typical, just maintaining that strength and making sure the minor injuries don't turn into major injuries. So other than that, pretty good.
You're a part of an offensive line that has played a lot of football. You, Lane Potter, Reed Thompson, you guys all been here a long time, played together for a long time. How much does that help on the field, basically knowing what they're doing at all times, and with all the shuffling you've had to do on the offensive line?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's helped a lot. Like, we talked about it before the season started that we are going to be over, I think now we're over 100 combined starts between, me, Joe, Lane, and Reed. So that helps a lot with just communication because we'll see stuff in practice and we don't really see in film. And we'll be like, oh, how are we going to pass this? And, sometimes we don't even have to talk to Coach Hensel. It just, we talk about it on the sideline, get it corrected right away. And I think that helps a lot with, teaching younger guys too. We kind of have that culture built in the offensive line room, I think it started with, people before us like Charlie Younger, he passed that same culture down to us that, we were going to be the smartest, toughest, and most physical guys in the field. And I think me, Lane, and Reed, and especially Joe, we carried that on, and we do a pretty good job of communicating and, getting through the tough stuff like that on defenses.
You talk about all the starts you have. Not all of them have come at Wayne State. Started on the west side at Davenport last week. We talked to Ken Cephas about his journey. You, Michigan guy, and you're a little different going from Davenport to Wayne State than Minnesota to Wayne State. Talk about that transition a little bit.
I started at Davenport in 2016. I went there as a tight end. I was a little smaller. I was 240 and 6'4". And first day they told me I was going to be offensive lineman. I haven't blocked, really a day in my life. So I was like, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. And, went through some ups and downs there and ended up being a starter there on the offensive line and got pretty good at it. And then, the transition from that school to here, they talk about culture here a lot and brotherhood. And, every team has that, in recruiting. But here they actually mean something, and you've been a part of it, but it actually means something here. So making that transition here, and meeting all these new guys, and having these new brothers and stuff, it was a huge change.
When you came here, you had to sit out a year, obviously, and at that point you had played at Davenport. You were already a really good football player. How tough was it to kind of basically redshirt after you've seen college football action and you knew you could be out there playing?
It was tough. It was tough coming from starting and playing in every game to, just watching on the sideline, not even dressing. But that redshirt year I had, I got to watch Israel Helms, a great tackle, and Tommy Richardson, a great guard. I got to watch their, work ethics and, how they went about practice and stuff like that. And then, already having game experience, I kind of knew exactly what I needed to work on, and so I took that to every practice, I need to work on my hand placement today, or I need to work on my footwork today, and I think it really made me a better football player than coming in and redshirting as a true freshman. You don't really know what you're going to be working on, you're kind of adjusting to that, and coming in already having experience, I think that really helped.
Well, you mentioned you played a lot of college football. The time's almost up. Hopefully you have more football in your future. But if not, what does Landin Mitchell want to do post-college?
So the goal is be in physical therapy school. I really the future goal is I'd love to be a PT for athletic team, a college or an NFL team or whatever, any, athletic group. I think that'd be really cool working with athletes, younger people, dealing with, their injuries and getting them back on the field.
Well, Landon, thank you for your time. Good luck against Michigan Tech, and again, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
That was the Senior Spotlight with Landin Mitchell. You're listening to Warrior Football on WDTK The Patriot.